Hi everybody, it's MA. I'm on the road, and over the last 2 days, I've stopped in two different metaphysical witchy stores around the New England area. Neither one of them are in Salem. And I just thought I'd do a tiny little haul video and talk about the shops and the things that I picked up there. Because the two places had a very different vibe. So the first place that I was able to go to is called the Robin's Nest, and it's in Bellingham, Massachusetts. And that's a little, the stuff that they stock is a little more standard. It's a really nice size store. Where they have books and a few tarot decks. It's kind of the standard like Llewellyn stuff and that. But then they do have a decent assortment of locally made things and some things that the proprietor makes. And they have a really, really beautiful altar, Lakshmi altar set up. And I think they're just starting to get back to hosting community events, which they were always very big on. And I think kind of came to a halt during COVID, obviously, even though the shop was able to stay open. So I picked up a few things in there because I always like to support them. I grew up in this area, and it just really warms my heart so much to see this flourishing of um, of these spaces. And the two that I went to really are engaged with like building community. So I got mostly kind of standard things from the Robin's Nest. I got a bunch of these colored spell candles. I think these look white, but they're like lavender. Um, I mostly buy a box of the Sabbath candles, the big box of 72 candles, and dress them myself. But sometimes I just want something a little quicker right out of the box. So I picked up some colors that I don't have, orange and green, and lavender, brown, black, and yellow, just to have around. It was time for a stock up. I picked up my favorite incense, which is by Sea Witch Botanicals. It's the Hermitage incense. This is like a low chemical, very nice incense. So I was happy they had that there. I got one herb. They have, this is probably like Mountain Rose, a distributor, like stuff that's repackaged in smaller, more affordable bundles so that I don't have to buy a $15 gallon sized bag of this. So I got the calendula, this is half an ounce. That's a lot for half an ounce. So glad I didn't have to buy a 4 ounce bag. This will last me a long time, making a few salves and using it for offerings. So yeah, they repackaged that at the store in their own packaging. Um, and then something that I thought was really kind of cute, and then found out that the person who owns the shop makes them, is this little wooden crow with a pentacle, and they had it made with different stones hanging. So this one, the color's a little off in this light, but these are amethyst. I may see if I can hang this in my car window or in one of my windows at home, but I thought this was kind of fun. Yep. And I didn't buy this time, but they make some of their own sprays. This is, well, I'm not going to say what they call it, but it's a sage, cedar, and lavender charged spray that smells really nice. Something like this. Again, I usually won't buy someone else's magical thing unless it's someone that I've interacted with or know something about them, or, and know their vibe a little more. So I do enjoy this shop and the person that runs it. So I feel nice buying something like this from them. This is something I carry when I travel. Like if I'm in a hotel or somewhere where I can't burn anything, I always carry this traveling with me, but this is actually almost empty. And then the last thing I got, I'm trying not to buy books this year, but I was, kind of talking to the woman that was working there today. And I know that Raven Grimassi was a friend of the shop and taught classes there a lot, and, spent a lot of time in that space. So I just had a conversation with her that I've never read any of Raven's books, and asked her if she would let me know which one is her favorite. So I did pick up the Book of Ways. Yeah, it's kind of to read, just to read it and find out what Raven Grimassi's point of view is and what their writing is like. And it just seemed like the perfect place to buy the book because their energy, has been in the space. And, you know, they continue to honor him. They keep an altar and everything. So yeah, so that was that space. And I would say another tip. So these are both, like I said, in New England. They're not in Salem. And I went to both of them on different days during the week, like late morning, early afternoon, where there weren't really a lot of people there. And just, I always have nice experiences at the Robin's Nest. You can walk around and nobody bothers you, or you can ask questions and the people are really lovely. So that to me is what a space like that really can be all about. Um, yeah, so that was that one. Today, I went to the Veiled Crow, which is in Warwick, Rhode Island. It's actually just a little past Providence, and that was a completely different store. Um, it's very minimal. Like, I think if I had walked into that shop a few years ago, I would have been like a little intimidated and probably left or just grabbed something off the shelf and like run out. I mean, paid for it, not stolen it. Um, it's kind of minimal. There's a room with like some crystals on the table, and beautiful displays. And really the center of the shop is, there's almost, I don't want to call it like a bar. And the specialty is, well, there's magic candles being made, and then sprays, oils, and incenses. Yeah. So, yeah, so I walked around there for a while. Someone was having a candle made. I could hear the owner kind of having a long conversation with someone and talking to them while the candle was being made. And I waited for them to be done. And then I could walk around and think about really what my intention was and what I wanted to get here and see the samples of what they have, but those aren't the smell testers, which happens at the counter. So I had decided, I saw a spray called Joy, and I thought, oh, I might want to get that for my sister. And then I also thought, well, I want to try one of their incenses, and I'd like to try one of the oils. So then when my turn came to go up to the counter, the first thing I asked is if I could smell the Joy spray. And I said, this is something I'm thinking of getting as a gift for someone else. And this is where everything started to get really interesting. This was not like an experience that I've had before. So she said, okay, and got like a test strip and put the scent on it and said, now I want you to close your eyes and smell it and think of the person, which I did. And I started to smell it. She said, no, I can tell by the look by your face, that's the wrong one. And she tested another one and I smelled. She said, yeah, that's more like it. So she was reading my face as I was smelling the things. And I will say all their blends do not make any note of what fragrance notes are in them. And also she was not, other than the first spray that I smelled, she was not telling me what I was smelling. So I'm going to tell you this experience, and it continued with the incense and the oil that I bought. Okay, I'm gonna refer to Harry Potter, fuck J.K. Rowling, turf, all that nonsense, but I'm going to refer to it anyway because it's the only analogy I can get. It was like trying out the wands at Ollivander's. And it was not a bullshit situation. I had already decided what I wanted to purchase, and this was the process to make sure that I got the product, the specific product blend that was going to work for me. It was just really interesting. So I did, pick up, it ended up that rather than the Joy, it was really the Sun blend that I was feeling was going to resonate more with the person I was going to give it to. So that's the one I picked out. And then for incense, I mentioned I've been working with, working at my mother's house. And we talked about that for a little bit, and she pulled out the incense jars and lit a little bit and let me smell it in the store. And I did get a package of the House Blessing incense. She mentioned I might also, if it felt like there was more ickiness to get rid of, I might try the uncrossing, and she got it off the shelf. And I said, we don't need to do that. So that was the process for that one. And then I wanted to get an oil, and this was for a little bit more of a personal, emotional support reason. and she had me smelling one after another. I think I smelled like 7 testers on the strips. And she narrowed it down to 2. And she said, well, this is very interesting. And the first one that apparently had resonated with me was Moon, called Moon. And shocker, I had been eyeing that on the shelf. And then the other one was called Wolf's Blood. So the difference in intention between the two is that the Moon incense is a little more reflective and about peace and releasing, and the Wolf's Blood, we kind of had a conversation, is more about taking your inner work that you've done and kind of having the courage and strength to put that out into the world a little more and step into your power. So I ended up getting the Wolf's Blood oil, and then because they had the Moon in an incense, which again, she takes it off the shelf and lights a little bit. These are self-igniting incense powders, and smelled that, and it was delightful. So I picked that up as well. And that was my experience at the Veiled Crow and also at the Robin's Nest. And they were both lovely experiences. Again, because I went at quieter shop times, it was nice. I really got to talk to people in both places about the community. I'm hoping that I can come up to some other events here. They do a Witches Night Out in Providence occasionally. I think there's one coming up in April that I like to go to, and it just makes me happy to see these places flourishing, and that these were both really nice shops and nice experiences, and those are my goodies. So yeah, that's it. So thanks for watching if you did. If you have I know I love it when, she changed her channel, Sandra, Spirit of Avalon, or Simon from the Hermit's Cave, whenever they go to the Sons of Asgard, we're always so enthralled by what they come back with. And I think there's just some shops that really have that feeling of intention behind them that can be really positive. And Cody at Tarot Readings from a Bitch had put out a video either yesterday or today that I just watched, just reminding us there's some shitty ones out there also. And I felt really grateful today that over the last 2 days I was in some really special places. So yeah, just wanted to share that. So see you later. Bye.